Good morning, everybody, or good evening. It's the recap of today's Bund session. It's Tuesday, the 24th of September. My hypos for the day. Hypo 1. The range long level for me is the lower pre-market volume edge. This was around 8:15 o'clock, 174.20, and the yesterday value area low around the 174.17. Hypo 2. Short. If we see increasing sell volume towards the 174.17, and the targets would be the 04.97 area. Then, on the other side, either this short fails or we see the accumulation before a short starts. There is, of course, the trend play of thinking it. So this can be the open drive or a open test drive situation. Trend play long. If the yesterday value area low holds, so that means the level around 174.70, or after the failed breakout, or with the strength without test, so that means kind of open drive, we look for the trade away from the intraday POC towards pre-market higher volume edge. The targets then would be the 39, 45, and 64 area. If buying power holds on, we stay, of course, in this trade for a home run. If it's reasonable, that means if a really bigger bull protection area is taken out, then we can leave this second position, this home run trade. This is what it looks like in the chart. The areas, this was like the list, the 174.17. That means you would look here either for the open test drive, the open drive, or the short, or if the short fails, of course, then switching from the failed short to the long. If you have more contracts, not only to the other side of the at the moment value from the pre-market, but also here for the higher targets, you see at least here this volume edge around this 40 to 45 area. If we see increased volume above this area of this volume edge from yesterday distribution value area high towards month 50, even target the value at a weekly high, so yesterday high and higher as possible. But we need to see this approved by the volume. Auction theory, price advertises for all directions, time regulates, and volume measures success or failure. This is what we're going for. Then take a look how it would play out then. And we switch to the trading window. This is what it then looks like. We see the open phase in between yesterday's little bit B model kind of distribution, and then we test in the downside. And then was something interesting happen. As they played the range long here, we see that the POC, the 2 days intraday POCs started to develop at this area. That means we have some volume transaction, and then people tried to get higher and buy it and buy it and buy it. They bought, but you see already price was here absorbed. This market buying was absorbed. So I identified then this area here is very interesting because remember it, we are close to the yesterday value area low here at this moment. We want to see then failure at the intraday POC and move away with initiative to be in a trade before this possible low of the 2-day is broken. What we want to see then is the failure. Again, the range long cannot get back here to the open high. You see a lot of initiative in selling. This got absorbed when getting back to this area here. And now we see initiative away from the 2 days POC, what is obviously my play entry from my new method here for my trendish play. So this was then the moment when I took on a trade. This happens here at this moment at 21 when I see the absorption was successful because we see now people getting into initiative selling away from the POC towards the yesterday value area low, where we have, of course, some nice profit possibilities, reward possibility. So let's see. I was in this trade then, and we see market, when I entered, then even started to push more and more. So we have some kind of impulse phase number 1 after I entered. That means ongoing interested of selling, and I was few ticks in the plus. No matter what, this was the sign then to get my stop closer. My initial stop was at the 174.25, so I was above this area here. At this area, from where the initiative started away from, there was my stop at 25. As I saw here that the initiative was going on, impulse phase number 1 for me, I was, this is my rule in this play, allowed to get the stop closer to the high in this term, when you're looking for the short side, of the initiative from the bears taken on. So this was then here. That means 23 was my stop. There was no more impulse phase then. That means already weakness, okay? No more second impulse phase after taking out the low. It was like kind of neutral, looking who can get into control, and then boom, buyers took over. And at this moment here at 21, I was then stopped out. So my stop was then here at this area at 23 here. Of course, this was my stop. I was taken out. So that means I knew now there, even though there were initiative to sell into an important area of my big picture preparation, and it was able to trade it, I was able, number 1, to decrease my amount of losing ticks. So because I could pull my stop closer because of reasonable trigger. That means this is a lucrative trade in the management and also in the execution phase. And I also knew already before I was stopped out, this is also then the opportunity for my next hypo 3, because important level, rejection, failure, leads to open test drive situation. Very, very good in the Bund. That means we do accept the yesterday value and stay in it. So that means if you trade now, let's say at least 2 contracts, I traded here 1 because I tested this method. I got to my target area here to the 27, 28, 29 area, got filled here, entered, stopped out, and filled here with the hypo 3. Boom, 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 got my target here. And then, if you have a second contract, and I led to this trade live in our stream, I said, when would I enter, when would I close this second position then? We see then the trade made it first of all the second position through the whole value of yesterday. That means we hit the target area number 1 and number 2. That means we hit the yesterday value area high. You see this here. This was our measure point 45. Target number, let's see this. Number 1 was 39, number 2 was 45, number 3 64, even with increasing vol holding on more. 39 and here 45 was then traded. So if you're happy with this, that's okay. Then you made maybe some 20 ticks. If you say no, I want to give it a chance, because think of it. This is the open test drive situation with a very, very cheap price to get into this. If this really get into a continuation of yesterday's trend, why would you stop this home run possibility position too early if you're working with this thinking, with this process, with 2 contracts? It means number 1, only get the scalp ticks, and number 2 would be if it's a good thing and we have plays at the upside, and if we have news catalysts, think of it. What if the German IFO climate index numbers are also bad, like yesterday, the manufacturing and flash of Europe, France, and Germany? This could be an indicator. It could be a catalysator, a news catalyst as well. We don't know. We don't need to know, but we need to have the statistical advantage when we have a cheap price and need to notice. So I said, I want to see first, as we then reach even out of this level here, out of the initial balance range high, that means above, yes, this 2 days pre-market high, we see they pull back to the zone here, they pull back to this level where we saw the initiative when they get out of the overnight high. See this, boom, 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 push it out with a lot of initiative here. You see this market buying. And I told then everybody in the stream that this is important to watch now, because when we pull back to this area, we want to see that either the selling is getting weaker or it got absorbed, or if it got absorbed, then switching back to confident market buying. This happens. That means as we reached here 9 o'clock, 48, 49, 40, 50, reached this level, we see we couldn't take out the 36 level. This means at this moment we saw some little absorption, and then they get more aggressive back, starting to buy. Passive buying means absorption, or absorption means passive buying, failure of getting lower, control of bulls. Switching to active buying means no more serious. I would say at this moment, I told everybody I would stay in this trade. As we were here, I would say, I said we stay in this trade, we stay in this trade, we stay in this trade, we want to wait for this. I said, okay, it looks good, we stay in this trade, we stay in this trade. Unfortunately, the news were coming. Unfortunately, they were a little bit better than expected. Some people played the news, it was oversold. Unfortunately, very much get below this level where I said this where we my stop would be. So that means you would be stopped out here. That means this was only then, yeah, only, that's okay. Another 11 ticks for this second trade, and it was well played. And you see now some volatility came in. You see it was a bit oversold. Also, the DAX had its problems. And as the DAX went up very, very quick with the bit of bad news, it didn't liquidate the overall bias of the market. This is not so good now right now in Europe as well. So, no matter what, it finds some balance again, and you see it was not the wrong thing to get out of here, because you see after the volatility gets out, you see that we saw that people don't had the impact here, OTF bias of bull side, they don't have the impact anymore to get up to this area. So no matter what, you see now we get back to balanced, the market find its balance, and we're ranging now just in the middle of the yesterday's separation. That means the profile got repaired, and I think this is looking very good. You see this here, the profile is getting repaired. Let's have a look onto it. You see this here? This was this little bit gap in between, and now you see how we just repair the profile, find imbalance, and make this then maybe look like a normal distribution. Nothing more to do, but you got your place. You can make money out of this, and most important, you can see how reading the market, the intraday bias, in context to the big picture, just gives you the advantage to play your plays and execute every play that you see. So my today's small goal, I have everyday tiny goals. My Tuesday goal is always in between 9 to 10 o'clock. Execute really every play on your playbook in context to the big picture. I did this. I'm happy with it. Also my sensations, emotions, and thoughts, so SET called, were in a very good greenish range. And for me, I knew now I'm making my progress, and step by step, joy with the process, and not with the P&L. Anyway, today, market gives us some good money. Thanks for watching. This is Anton Hopfel for Monapa Trading, and this was the recap of today's Bund session. Bye bye.